me in the game, so I'm highly exposed to paper. Wake me up, I think I'm dreaming. Back in the game, I thought I never had it seen. 50-point ring, rollers red and green, black like a screen, 3-story dream.
Man, we want to welcome y'all back to Hustlerholic. The podcast is a movement. It's not just about highlighting people and their success. We like to get to the science of the hustle, man, and let people really come in and just sit down, relax, be comfortable, and explain their mission, their journey to success. And I'm so excited today because we have two beautiful, beautiful guests on here today, beautiful in many kind of ways. DJ Supastar, DJ Tay Powers up in the building. I got my co-host, Flip D in the building, the digital diva over here. So what's so wonderful about this show, man, and to me is my sister, my mom, and they are big influences on me, and I love Trailblazers, and these are truly some Trailblazers. They have built brands in a male-dominant industry, and we definitely wanted to sit down and highlight them and let them share some secrets and drop some jewels and some nuggets on some other young women and men that's out here with high aspirations and stuff. So
thank you for having us.
Come on, introduction.
I love it.
So, but we'll just start off, you know what I'm saying, let you guys kind of work our way into this space, what we're doing. Yeah, because and normally, man, we just sit up here, we try not to script anything, man.
Good.
So
keep
it authentic.
Yeah,
100%
so we're going to get there, man. And we're going to start off, Superstar, like for sure, out here in Houston, you built such a strong brand out here. Can you kind of walk us through, like, how did you even think I'm finna start DJ? Like, this takes me all the way back to.
So you want to go all the way back?
When you said, "Hey, I'm gonna start DJing, making money."
All right, let me put my drink down. All right, so honestly, okay, so let me just keep it real right now. So as a kid, I've always loved music. I had parents that were like older. So I had older parents, and they didn't know what to do with me. But really, they didn't know what to do with me. They got me a Casio keyboard. I tried to play the piano. I started playing the violin. I can play the clarinet, and I play the piano.
Okay.
And I've always loved music. I've always loved music. It wasn't until I turned 16, I was like, I'm gonna throw my first party. I called it the Rump Shaker.
Oh, hey, Rump Shaker.
And I made my own flyer. I drew it and everything. This was at 16.
So you already had an entrepreneur.
Yeah, right. and then I was 16. My dad was an entrepreneur, so I grew up on the south side of Houston. My dad had a vegetable stand right down Ring Road. Everybody used to go down on the south side. I used to try to run the cash register. I didn't know what I was doing. But I was just a kid there trying to maneuver my way, right? And I didn't know what it was at that time. Fast forward, after the first party, after college, I was like, let me go buy some DJ equipment. I was working at AT&T making good money. Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Being out of college, and at that time, it was AT&T. So I was making like $25 an hour out of college. I moved off of Westheimer, and Guitar Center was right there next to our apartments. I lived at 7979. All right. Yeah. And then what I used to do is I used to throw. I was like, okay, my best friends thought I was crazy. And I was like, let me go get some equipment at Guitar Center. I walked next door, and they was like, what are you doing? I was like, I don't know. I just want to get a start equipment. And it was a Funk Master Flex, which I don't because I don't like what he's doing right now in the media. But It was a Funk Master Flex starter kit. It was 2 turntables and a little 2-channel mixer. I still got it. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to try to hook it up myself. And I always had a very curious mind to music and setting it up. So I knew the red went into the red and the white went into the white. And I just tried myself. Fast forward, and I'm trying to keep this as short as possible, but fast forward, GT and Ali was doing first of all, they had a record pool. And if y'all know what
A
records
real
are, they
record
were
pool.
records.
Yeah.
And they had a record pool called Key Players. And Stereo, what is it, on Richmond, that club, studio, that big club right there, 6224, you know?
Oh yeah.
They had, it was Stereo Live.
Right.
Stereo Live.
Okay.
So before that, I forgot the name, but they used to have happy hours. Fast forward, I went there. Ali was trying to holler at my girl and ended up saying he had a record pool. GT was looking for somebody to train. I used to go up to the other radio station, 97.9, and stand there with GT, and he trained me every Saturday. And I would stand there and DJ. Fast forward.
I just want to touch that though, because GT my partner.
GT is my
You know,
boy.
You know they broke a lot of our music.
Yeah, so look, I have all y'all records. Like
Yeah.
I got records.
So-
like I got records.
So they kind of mentored.
No, they did.
Yeah.
Listen, I got a video where Ali just straight shunned me. I want to tell y'all, like, it was hard because it was during a time when it wasn't popular for female DJs.
Yes.
It was not
That's
popular.
what we want to get to.
Like, it was
Come on.
not popular.
Right.
I got shitted on. Can I?
You can curse.
Okay.
Shit, yeah, you can curse.
I don't even want to cry. I got emotional saying that because, I mean, so many people shitted on me. Like, shit.
Shit.
Like,
So-
shit. I don't even want to get
I
emotional,
know.
but shit. Maybe
But
it's the
pick
cocktail.
this out, though.
But
Pick
yeah,
this out. This is important, though.
but it's very important
Yeah, but
because
you-
I'm emotional because
Yeah.
I cry because
they shoot.
I keep it real.
Yeah.
Right.
And the thing was like, I got shitted on. They was like, what you doing carrying these records? Do you know how to even hook up your own equipment?
Even still
You
to
know,
this day.
Do you know what you're doing? And it took even aggravated. You know, I used to go to St. Peter parties in the hood as a kid, and I used to look at aggravated DJ with Def Jam Blast, and I was like, damn, these dudes are doing, but it was no females, and it was no cute females, and I was like, well, damn. Well, what is it? Why we don't have that?
Right.
And so, even aggravated didn't take me seriously. So on Westheimer, after I got that equipment, he was hollering at my roommate. And sorry. And he came in. He used to come over. Oh, well, yeah, he was over there all the time. And he saw my setup. And he would be like, well, damn, you really serious? I was like, yeah, I'm serious. So I ended up getting records from GT and Ali. They were the only ones that took me serious.
Dang. Shout out to
Ali was the one that shitted on me though, cause he was like,
Was that maybe it was
oh yeah, it was hazing. I was getting
Yeah.
hazed. He was. I gave him a mixtape, and he was like, and I will play this to this day. I still got the CD.
Nah,
And
he
he
brutally
was like-
honest, too.
Yeah, and he brutally honest, and he was like, "What is this?" he was like, you can see his face. He was like, "What is this? You got to go back to the drawing board. This ain't no mixtape, you know, whatever." And I was like, damn.
That might
And
be
I'm
what she
thinking
needed.
that, well, I got more stories about that, but I
Yeah.
was like, well, damn, okay. But that was the initial. Fast forward, my husband my boyfriend at the time that turned into my husband, we went and got 2 records that didn't even mix. It was Shook One's Mobb Deep,
Yeah.
and it was Mantronics, Fresh is the Word. I'll never forget that. Those records don't even match. But I got those records because I was like, damn, I love that music. My husband, my fiance at the time was like, well, we gonna make it work. Fast forward, I got pregnant, got married, and lost my husband at the same time.
Oh my gosh.
After that was when I had just gotten a job DJing for the kids at St. John's downtown because they was looking for something new to do with their youth. But then my husband passed away, so they had to postpone. And I was like, I don't know anything about no hip hop gospel.
Man.
I don't know how to DJ, and it wasn't popular back then.
Right.
Right.
Okay,
Right,
like it's popular now.
Right.
So I was like, I don't know about that. All I can spin is Kirk Franklin.
Right.
I was like, oh yeah, well, I was like, okay, I'll do it. Fast forward, after his service and everything, Pastor Rudy even let me have the funeral there for free. That's why I mess with Pastor Rudy. That is my church forever. Pastor Rudy Bread of Life. Anyway, fast forward, I started DJing there every Sunday. However, I didn't know at the time that was God's way of helping me grieve and dealing with those kids. And that's where I found my passion.
So I got a quick question.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's amazing.
Your story, like I said, and I
Ooh,
think
let me take a sip.
so many. See, everybody always just see the shine.
Oh, yeah.
And they don't see the grind. They don't see all the time people was.
They don't see the sleepless
the
nights.
Man.
Not hating on you, but like you said, counting you
yeah.
out.
The gut punches.
For
Gut
sure,
punch.
for sure.
So, Miss Powers.
Yeah. I'm hearing her story, and it's like how similar, and I didn't even know it, that we've had such a similar upbringing. Same situation. I started off, I was a jazz musician first. I played trumpet and went to performing arts school, went to HSPBA. And we didn't have any sports teams or anything like that. So, but we had something called RPBA, which was Radio PBA. And there was a DJ team. And it was only boys. But the DJ team got to throw parties every Friday at the school.
Oh.
So it was like fame. People would be dancing on the tables.
Y'all
We would
started
play.
that?
Yeah, like literally it was the craziest thing. And so when I saw that, I was like, I want to do that. And I ended up asking them to be on the team. There wasn't really an audition thing, I guess, because they were just like, it was only like 4 people. They're like, well, sure, just sit and watch us. And I learned from like a senior, and the next year he graduated and made me captain of the DJ team. And so then I was doing the Friday parties, and then went out from there. And I was a part of Top Teens. I don't know if you've heard of Top Teens.
Top Teens.
Top Teens Houston chapter. Top Teens Houston. And so I ended up throwing a big party. I had a connect at U of H. Meanwhile, I'm like 15. It was actually my godmother. And she got me it's like a space there that could fit like 500 people. And I was like, all right, I'm going to throw like the biggest party I can throw. I ended up getting people from different high schools to be like ambassadors for this spring fling. I was 15. I remember me and Trey Poindexter, and we packed it out. Like tickets sold. I'm talking about 15 to $5,000 from a party, even though I had to give it back to Top Teens. But still. And so that kind of was just like, wait, this is something that I could do. However, went to college when I went to school. I didn't have equipment anymore. And this was before controllers and before all of that stuff. And I learned on CDJs. And so those were, a couple $1,000s. So I kind of was just like, you know what? I'm going to focus on the business side, focus on music production. Got in on the label side. I worked with a bunch of artists for a while. And after college, kind of similar to you, after college, I was just like, you know what? Actually, let me get back into this.
Right.
Got back into it, and it's kind of all she wrote.
So you've been doing a lot of touring.
Yeah.
So, and that's kind of, I like both of y'all have, strong brands. Supastar, you definitely damn near, H-Town, like everybody knows.
H-Town Queen.
Man, I still don't even be thinking that, because I feel like I got so much to go, and y'all can attest to that, because once you feel like you have that dream and you accomplish that dream, do y'all ever think like,
what's next?
Yeah, it's more.
Oh, when I was on stage at the O2, tens of thousands of people, and Fat Man Scoop is like, Tay Powers, like going off crazy, and I'm coming out, and I'm seeing a sea of people. Ooh. I kind of was just like, oh, fuck, what next?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, how did you get to work with them?
So actually, I came back to Houston a couple years ago, and I started doing an event that I put on called Living Room. So this was my coming back to Houston, getting reacclimated with the city. I also wanted to give back to up and coming artists. So Living Room was my space where independent artists could come, and we would, it was not just a party, but you could showcase your new music. Even some of my friends that are bigger artists would come and stop through and showcase their new music. Even if they have platinum records, it was kind of like a Sayers Club here in New York. There's a one-stop shop for everybody to get their stuff off. And I ended up having Maya come through to one of the events. It was a 90s party that we did, and Keith Jacobs and I. And she was just like, hey, I have this event in the Bahamas. Would you want to DJ for me? I was like, of course. And we did that one-off, and this last year was going to be her 20th anniversary, tour, but of course COVID. But she kind of got me started on the touring, and it kind of trickled after that. And so that last tour, the one I was saying with Fat Man Scoop, was Kistery. So that was Nelly, Shaggy, Maya, Salt and Pepper.
Okay.
It was kind of an old school 90s party European tour.
That's
and it
the
was
only
fun.
thing I've never done is tour.
Yeah, it's
That's
completely
on
different.
my list.
It's a grind.
I've never toured.
You still married?
I wasn't married.
Well, he was your
Okay. He was my fiance. I'm a widow.
I was saying touring.
I know. I'm a widow, and then fast forward. Fast forward. I did become engaged. I kind of postponed it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's kind of complicated right now.
All right.
But
But you open for touring.
I'm open for touring. That was the one thing.
No, that tour life is
But
real.
I know it's real, and I don't
like,
even know.
I didn't expect it to be that
Yeah,
grind
so I don't
like
know if I
that.
can.
I don't
You
know.
know,
Yeah,
it was
It's fun and
it was
it's a
it was
grind,
fun.
But I
and
don't know if I
The
can.
hotel rooms get after a while, but I ain't gonna lie. Like I made it for the road.
Yeah.
I love it, and
I love it to an extent.
Yeah.
To a certain
You know,
extent.
those few weeks at a time, cool. But
Yeah, a
it's
couple
just
weeks
like,
at a time. I think I
know.
can do that because I DJ in town. But
And also,
tour life, I want.
I'm just also grateful. I tend to, work with a bunch of women artists because it's like I also worked with Fab for a long time, and being the one girl in that clique with
was hard.
Fab and Trey Songz and all those guys.
Trey
Hey,
Yeah.
we see they
You
shut
saw
down
some-
MLK
you saw
weekend.
some shit,
We
huh?
see how it gets down. So
But speaking of that, speaking of women working together, how is it in a untraditional industry, and how do you work with women and don't make it competitive? Because typically
they pit us against each other.
Yeah,
and
they
we
do.
really work to not like.
Man.
You say they do they?
It's the
Yes,
day.
it's the day.
It's
Hold
I
on.
don't know who they
No,
is.
stop.
We're here.
They say that again because I want
They pit
pitch-
us against each
No,
other.
do y'all pitch yourselves?
Heck
against each
no.
other?
Heck
Who
no.
is they then?
The powers that be.
That is.
Who
I think it's
said?
the wrong people. I don't know. But
Because
wait.
You were
All they
saying
do-
you
no,
think
you're
that's a
right.
nature
'Cause
of women to do that.
But I want to say with
Well-
female DJs, especially here in Houston, the ones that, we all kind of know each other. We all love each other. We fuck with each other heavy. And it's like, oh, I can't make this gig. Can you do it, girl? Hey, I got this. And it's really like a sisterhood. Unfortunately, we don't see each other all the time because we all have gigs at the same time.
right.
But for some reason, it's always this, oh, it can only be one. I'll have one female DJ on the ticket.
Gotcha.
Or,
Right.
or, oh, if I have to have one, I think this one is, it's this weird.
So it make y'all compete
Right.
for that one
We
female
don't-
spot sometimes. I'm just
But
On the
people-
outside, they
Right.
that type of is that some-
perception.
Yeah, it's weird.
Man, I
And I'm
really
like,
be
we know there's
wanting to
all these male
understand this,
DJs.
man, because like I'm being real. I'm having an
Yeah,
open moment right
yeah.
now. We
Okay.
just talking.
No, we can
I'm
talk.
off script.
I don't
I'm
even
telling
care.
My sister, my mom's probably, and my grandma probably had the biggest impact on my life.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a chauvinistic bone in my body. I ain't nothing I don't think a woman can do. That a man can do that a woman can't do except lift more weights or something physically. They are
Right.
certain, and so I was trying to explain this to somebody the other day, and I said, man, there's so much that we don't see, and the best way somebody described it to me, they say, imagine somebody white or of another race that don't understand
The
how
black
we feel,
experience.
the black
That's
experience.
actually a good.
So I always
think
try
about
to
it.
get
So
to
let
the
me-
bottom
oh,
of it.
Imagine,
I
you
love-
went to HBCUs,
I like to
right?
really
Yeah.
understand
So y'all
that.
went to
Go ahead.
HBCUs, you can
'Cause I'm
have your
upset
frat
about
brothers, you
this.
can
I
have, and
really
it's
be wanting
like,
to understand.
if y'all are in the same field, right, and it's like, that's my dog, we're all doing this, so this is my bro, but you know that the white people are going to be like, oh, we really only want to hire one black person.
Right.
And so I'm not really competing with you, but we know that they think that they can't have two of us in a room. Like, otherwise it's like, oh, the room got too dark.
Which could
Otherwise,
be the whole
the room
crab
is
in
too
the
feminine
bucket.
now.
Yeah.
Probably
But
where the whole
then-
crab in the bucket
Right,
thing
right.
can't
Yeah,
y'all
it
race
is
from
the
home.
crab in the bucket. So look, I'm gonna tell y'all a scenario. I'm sorry. I'm gonna say these names, okay? I'm gonna put this in my book eventually. So no shade on nobody's name that I say,
No
okay?
shade.
Because I appreciate everybody. But this is when I was trying out for BET Master the Mix.
Mm-hmm.
I was the only female that was there. Okay, this was in 2011. This is when you had your High C's, Good Grease, Mr. Rogers, your DJs in Austin. You had your Aggravateds. You had everybody on the club scene. I'm still trying to, maneuver my way in. DJ LaRose, all these people that are in Houston. So I'm about to tell you. I'm about to give you the real.
Give us the real.
Went there. I was working right over here in my corporate job. I had just lost my husband, like I told you. But after I lost him, it was a grind because I was like, okay, do I keep DJing or not? And I was still DJing. I'm DJing at church, and things was, just happening. And my homegirl called and was like, hey, BET is here. I was like, oh, I ain't gonna try out. She was like, girl, why? And I was like, no. I sat there and I was like, okay, well, maybe I will, maybe I'm not. I actually heard that voice that people say, and they was like, you'll be stupid if you don't go.
Right.
Really, you would be stupid. I told my job, because I was a manager of my team, I said, I gotta go. My people, because I would always get them into the parties free. So I would say, cover for me, and then I'm gonna go.
All right.
I left, went to House of Darion, R.I.P., and it was the tryouts. All the dudes that you can think of was there. I ended up going in, made the first round. They asked me about screw music, Houston music, all of that. I played all my Houston music. They was like, well, damn, okay. Got to the second round. When I got to the second round, I was standing in line. And I was standing behind somebody. And I won't say their name. But I was like, damn, what is about to happen? He was like, damn, we're about to go to the second round. I was like, damn. I was like, my heart was pumping. And then he said, well, of course you would make it because you got titties and ass.
Wow.
All these young people now, we got a vice president, so young black women will be like, one day I might could be vice president or whatever.
Right.
What advice would y'all give the young, and this apply to both of y'all, to the young black woman that, God damn it, I got shitted on, and you might get shitted on, but not as much, but what advice would y'all give to them?
I would say do you 1,000%. Like, I think I spent so much time concerned about what people would think and what things look like, and even as a DJ, because of course it seems more masculine to people. They're like, oh, you carrying this? I'm like, oh wait, I need to make sure I look super cute today. It's like, you know what? 1,000% be yourself. And I know that sounds cliche, but even when it comes down to the music that I play, like we talked about how I left Houston to move to New York, and I got exposed to a bunch of different music and being in a club and playing house music and playing remixes and playing a bunch of cool ass shit. And then some people don't receive that, here. It's like,
especially in our culture.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. We're talking about being black. They're like, oh, she plays that weird shit. Or, I hear that sometimes. And it's like, though I can play hip hop, I can be there with the rest of the. I can be there with.
I'd be like, oh, don't be playing.
I DJ for DMX. You know what I'm saying?
Like, think about what you just said.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the moment. When I tell you,
that's real though.
And you're talking about the day. It's like when I did the set for DMX, opened up for him. It's like people did not expect me to go hard like that. And the whole just like, man, I played man. The whole freaking stadium going off, and it's just like, but you can do that and do whatever else you like to do too. And I don't think in this day and age you have to be so one track minded. And I think we're just gonna have so many different women coming up that
I'm gonna be honest, y'all are feeling bold right now.
Oh yeah.
I'm just telling you, to be honest. If I was chauvinistic, I'd be like, hey y'all, we gotta watch these. Cause on the cool, look at it though.
So
y'all starting to run the numbers up on DJs. Y'all definitely running the numbers up on artists.
Mm-hmm.
What do artists do after they become artists? They become
entrepreneurs.
Entrepreneurs
They
are
put other
artists.
Entrepreneurs are artists.
So-
If you're a good artist,
So
you are.
I expect to see a lot more female artists starting to come out from these other female artists.
Yeah.
Right.
Probably more female DJs going, because
It's
now you had to go through the ag and all them.
Right.
Hey, Bali. Now somebody.
And you know what?
Now you can open those doors.
And that is why I wanted to start my DJ school, okay?
And that's why I'm watching y'all.
Because, yes,
we gonna be coming.
Okay, we coming. Because sometimes it's like you get that fire on the inside, like, oh, okay, well, you did show me. Oh, okay. Do you know how many times I tried out for the radio? The other station, And this was after TV. This was after I was an entrepreneur. I got told over and over, why don't you go the entrepreneur route? I'm like, well, damn, what else do I have to do? So to answer your question, after all these years, but being in the game, 20 plus, it's been a lot of crying moments. Sometimes I've always wanted to go back. But this is one thing that I have to say. You got to get you a close inner circle of even your friends back in high school, of people that you know, like your best friend, maybe like 5 people. I have let a lot of people go because this industry, as you know, is real fictitious. It's real fake. You have to smile at people you don't want to smile. When I mentor kids, I tell them, I said, sometimes you gotta smile at people even though you don't like them, because you never know who you're going to work with and for.
Right.
This industry is so
Tiny.
I don't even know what to say. And now that I'm in radio, I'm like, ooh,
Yeah.
that has been my ultimate
It's
goal.
politics.
It's very
It's politics.
politics. And I'm like, well,
It's worse than politics. Cause I've been.
I don't even know what
I've
politics
been in this shit
is at
30
this
years.
point.
Right.
Yeah, I know. And I'm like, how did you even?
And I'm telling you straight up, like,
Shit.
it's kind of good because I think overall in our community, sometimes we're too emotional with business.
That is true.
So the good thing I can say about walking away from that fake ass shit, pretty much any other business I'm dealing with, I don't get so emotional.
That's
about
true.
it.
So why is it emotional? Yeah.
Speaking of emotional, because
And men do have emotions.
no, and I'm
He's
like,
more emotional. Honest with you. Nigga, you stepped on my shoe?
but speaking as emotional, because women we take it inward, you know, when it is. And so how did you being in an untraditional, you know, how do you get out your head sometimes?
You want the real answer? You want the real answer?
What you mean? Well.
A lot of that herbal.
I'll be honest, I can't smoke like that.
Just a little. But hey, but seriously. CBD.
We don't fuck up the brand.
CBD.
Nah,
And you know what? You know what really helped me? So 2017 to me was my biggest year, I think, because I got myself on a regimen. Even though I did wake and bake, I would go to yoga, and I would get my mind right.
That's real.
Right.
You gotta get your mind. So many times, like honestly, my mind takes over me.
Yeah,
My
too.
weaknesses is my follow through game, because I get caught up with my emails and text messages. Like everybody can know, it might take me a day or 2 days to respond, but I be like, shit.
Right.
Right.
You know, it's the mind thing. It's talking
Let
to
me tell
yourself.
you what, I don't deviate. Mean Green.
Oh, Mean Green.
Oh, yeah.
Let me tell you a Mean Green story real quick. Man, I was flying at my highest altitude at this time. You know what I'm saying? And I think we was in New York somewhere, and Green was hitting me, and that's like my big bro. You know what I mean? But you have a tendency when you fly high to feel like my family know where I'm. You know, they know what's up. So I hit him back, and then I hit him back like maybe a day later, 2 days later, and I say, "Great, man, you know I was moving through, man. We had met with Lyrical, and we just left Def Jam."
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
I believe your story.
He was like, yeah, I hear you. He say, "Well, D, man, just remember one thing. You can be too busy to answer the phone right now, but one day that motherfucker might not be ringing."
Man, hold up.
Sheesh.
And I never forgot that, yo. Anyway,
That's
You know
that's
what?
the gem.
so
You know what?
while you fly
That's a
high,
good gym.
That's
know,
great.
Because in this entrepreneurial world, like I started in 2013. It is now 2021.
Yeah.
When 2011 came, I was like,
Yeah.
it's so many up and down roller coasters.
Yeah.
You gotta have a strong mindset.
Resilience.
Yes.
You gotta stick with it. You gotta have people in your corner to root you. Even if those people don't root you, you gotta root yourself. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have affirmations on your mirror. I got affirmations on my mirror. I write to myself. I probably got like 10 notepads in my car.
I'm writing it out all
Like
day long.
all day long.
All day long.
Because I be all
And
over the place.
I
And if you
literally
don't, So you do it too?
Oh, 1,000%. And
See?
every morning when I get up, and this has actually honestly helped me throughout the pandemic too, because as of today, it's just been like, what the heck? Like, again, I said we had 300 dates last year, and then all of a sudden nothing. So I was just like, all right, what am I about to do now? And I just had to get grounded, because for a second I was lost in the sauce too. Even somebody that's done things before, it's just like, again, Easter famine. So I just, really was focusing on being grounded, saying, this is my one little affirmation that I say every day, no matter what. I add other stuff to it, but I say each and every day, great things come my way.
All right.
Wow.
And I believe it, because it's something that it's simple enough where it's.
I'm gonna use that. You know what I say? This is so crazy. Somebody is raising up somewhere. Somebody is raising their powers to. Somebody somewhere is using their powers to help me.
I love that. Exactly.
Whatever that is. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna use yours.
I mean, because it's something. Because every day, and I say it almost like I either rap it or sing it to myself. I know it sounds corny, but I do it in my head constantly. So that way, it's like subconscious, and also it's so simple that I believe it. You have to believe whatever you're saying. Versus, you're like, I'm gonna make $1 million today. You might say it, but if you don't believe it, it's not gonna happen. Versus, some great things are about to happen today.
You know what? That is so right.
And I stand positive.
That is so right. And but then sometimes, you know what? That is so true. Mm-hmm. And I tell myself, I'm sorry, because when I know I'm not in the flow, because I know what it feels like to be in that flow. Yes. When you get that call from Beyonce,
right?
And you in that flow.
But it could also not even be a monetary thing. It can just be like, you feel it, and you're in that, like, things are coming. So you might not see it, but they're coming.
But so what do you do when your mind is like, I don't feel like that this day. I don't even want to do it.
Because some days can be.
Some days be
Some
hard.
days though, man. A lot of it is in our mind. Like right now, I ain't gonna lie. Good shit coming.
Right.
Because it was kind of cloudy.
Right.
And since y'all been here, y'all been bright the whole year.
When I'm not, it's really, I think a major thing is getting outside if you can. Vitamin D, I know I'm not trying to be all like, professor right now, doctor, but when I realized that, like, the deficiency of vitamin D is linked to depression, is linked to 80% of people that got COVID had vitamin D deficiency. So
now we talking about the vitamin D in the sun.
Yes, y'all.
I want to try this. You know what's a good vitamin too, though?
What?
Energy and space.
Oh yeah,
that you keep.
Yeah.
When you're around the right motherfuckers,
that's true
a
too.
cloudy day
you can feel
sunny.
it too.
Yeah.
And you can feel it, man.
But here's the other side of it. Sometimes when you are having those days, you gotta kind of feel through them. Like sometimes
gotta go through to get to.
Sometimes it's not about like, let me go and make myself feel better. Sometimes it's let me feel through this moment. Let me really feel what I'm feeling in this moment, because it allows me to come up to it birth something else. Because nobody likes feeling like that, especially when you're positive. But it allows you to kind of tap in and like, okay, now why am I having this feeling? Like, what is going? And you can go through it because it's been I've had some of the most peace at some of my hardest times. But once I submit to that feeling for a moment, I submit to that moment for a minute, and it's trusting.
It's trusting, because even those times,
like that moonwalk.
But
when you live in that dream,
that's right. But even those times can be the great things, because it brings a different part of your character out. So it's like, I've had shit happen to me. I've had, like the reason I'm back in Houston, I had my car fell off the freeway with me in it, 30 feet. So yes. So I was
what? 30 feet?
Where?
288 in the Beltway. Here, 288 in the Beltway. That's the reason I came back to Houston.
Look, that was you. That was you.
I saw you down there. Wait,
the Beltway?
Yes.
Oh, what? 288?
288. 288 in the Beltway.
Like what? Going that way?
It was a couple years.
Look, what way you was going?
So that's what I'm saying. So let me tell y'all.
Oh my God.
We're gonna make it real quick.
Yeah.
This was a few years ago. It was Christmas. I was DJing. I was back in town. I was DJing Expose. It was me and Young Streets. And the plan was right after, this is the 26th, right after the holidays, I was headed back to LA. So driving, I already left the party and was home. It was at my mom's house in bed, literally just sweatshirt on, nothing. And he calls me. He's like, "Yo, I think my
That's him.
like,
Something-
yo,
something, can you
I
bring
think-
that?
yes,
Something,
yes."
can you bring
He's
that?
like, "Yo, I think I left my cord in your bag, and we're at the after party. It's like 4 in the morning
And
now.
you
It's like
needed
3:30.
it, yeah.
He's like, "There's 300 people out here. Can you bring it to me, please?" I was like, "Fuck." Meanwhile, I just got into that good sleep right after you've been at the club. Like, I drank a little bit, but I wasn't like lit. I'm just tired now. And so been asleep about 5 minutes. So I said, all right. When I tell you I didn't even put shoes on, I didn't put anything on. I just was like, all right, I'm just walking to get in the car and figure out. So I get on 288 because I'm coming from Pearland. Get on 288 and it's a straight shot. So I was just like, oh, I'm gonna just put the address in while I'm on the freeway.
You went to the left.
Exactly.
Oh.
Went to the left.
That medium kind of.
Right there.
Exactly.
That's why
There's
I
no
saw it.
guardrails.
I was like, ooh.
There's no guardrails right there. And so I'm putting the thing in, I hear brrr, and I was like, what's that? And I'm still not paying attention. And all of a sudden I look up and I see grass. I'm like, why is there
You
grass
wasn't lit
right
when you
here?
were paying attention with the.
And I was what? Like,
But it was
I was like,
fly
no,
though,
that
and
was-
you like, you know.
and because this was like an after hours. And so I literally look up and I see grass. I'm like, fuck, I don't know like why there's grass. I pump my brakes so hard, but again, it's that dewy time of the morning, night, weird, foggy.
Right.
And I slid, I hit something first, thank God, because that's what made my airbags deploy first before going over.
Ooh.
And so I went over 6 lanes of traffic. Thank God nobody was coming
Wow.
down.
Wow.
I went across 6 lanes of traffic and into
my
a
God.
concrete embankment down on the
Your
other
car
side.
came down on wheels.
I
or
know
on the roof?
exactly.
No, it came down on the
On
wheels,
the
but it
wheels.
like if you see
Yeah.
pictures of it,
Oh,
my
wow.
car looked like squashed. Like
Oh,
it
no
went
doubt.
down like
Like,
that. Yeah, it
You come
literally.
down.
Cause you
Every
down like-
single, I didn't flip.
That's
I
what
took
saved
out. Oh,
that's what
was-
saved
You
you.
didn't flip.
I took out 2 street signs, and every single airbag deployed. My car is crushed. I got out and walked. I walked out of it. However, 2 days later, I'm in the bed. My legs start going like this and just stop. It took me 6 months to be able to
Yeah.
walk again.
Fractures.
You
in
lost.
the brain.
Yeah, my
That's
legs.
something happened
My
with your
lower 3
Vertebrae.
vertebrae were crushed.
No shit.
And so that was a oh fuck, what am I about to do moment, because I was just hitting my groove. I just DJ'd in China, did a 3-month residency out there. And
All this shit we
yeah.
We
been
probably
talking
got a
about.
lot of old mind
All
moments.
this, I know we do. That's that moment where all this shit we've been talking about
it's,
don't even matter no more.
Right.
Cause you here.
we're here. And I know it was just angels surrounding me, because I saw somebody
Yeah.
running down the freeway screaming because they saw what happened.
Wow.
And I'm like, I'm here. Like, I'm okay.
And that, first of
And-
all, those
yeah.
architects, 288
That
and
shit's
Pearland, y'all
horrible.
gotta stop. Even today, 610. I mean,
People are
like,
like,
come on, man.
how-
What is going on?
Yeah.
It's so scary driving up high, and I'm like, what is going on? So y'all gotta
Going
stop
back to
saying
what
this.
you were talking about, though, as
It's
far
too
as being in
much.
a dark space, because
Yeah.
I was just like, 26.
Wow.
I was at this kind of, had just hit my stride and getting these calls, getting these bookings. Now I don't even know if I can DJ, 'cause I can't stand for more than an hour.
So, but let me
Wow.
tell y'all this. Y'all know what? Through your pain
Right.
comes your passion.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Through your pain
For sure.
comes your passion, and you can. That's what causes you to fight through to get to that finish line.
Oh yeah.
Because you have felt so much like,
You're gonna fail.
distractions,
You fail your way
all
up.
that stuff, and
Fail your
then
way up.
You know how to handle that shit.
Oh yeah.
and it feels like, well, goddamn, how many more harder?
Right,
Like
How much?
you been
How many
shitted on,
more?
I've been
Like,
shitted
ugh.
on, you had heartbreak and
Yeah,
loss,
already I
and
done
we
had lost,
had-
and now I'm taking care of my parents and my daughter and juggling everything. So now it's a different chapter. I think in lives
you always gonna have something. It's
No,
always gonna
it's
be
just
something.
always something.
Always
And
something.
Your
But you
shoulders,
can handle it though.
your
And you
shoulders
got-
get stronger and stronger.
Right.
They say you live your life to only learn to die. That's the
That's
truth.
I believe.
Right.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Wait, say that one more
So,
time.
you lit.
I just made that shit.
Oh.
That was actually profundity
But it's
in
the
that
truth,
because
though.
learning
You-
to die, you have to
you
have
live
this
your
release.
life
You have to
as
be able to
something-
release.
I-
To be able to release your spirit into the next realm.
Yeah,
to be able
because-
to do that.
That's
because
right.
you suffer so much loss.
Yeah.
And then when it's your own demise, like you're stronger for it. So
Yeah,
you gotta bury your mother, you gotta bury everybody you love. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, we won't go there. That's too
That's
morbid.
that's another
You
whole.
like Kanye West? Then,
Oh,
man,
for
like,
sure. 1,000% through the wire. That's the story.
Now, like she said, man, this joke here, man, we done had
Man, what y'all got stories? I know y'all ain't got stories.
For days.
But time was for days.
life.
Yeah, let me
death,
give you y'all.
Yeah.
Now, life and death.
What's y'all's like? You know, what's something that has stopped? Like, what has been a life challenging moment in your life, and you had to fight through it because maybe you had a show that night, or maybe somebody was on the road.
Wow.
Like, how did you push through those moments that was just tough?
I honestly, God, truly have to do a whole nother show.
Ooh,
I lost Pat 2 days before my trial. Like, it's so many different. So,
ooh, that is
if you-
history.
yeah, I'm on a whole bunch of.
I know,
my
but that
shit.
is like
we
so
here
history.
to honor and talk about it.
Okay.
She got in the
I
radio.
know, like,
She got
man.
Y'all got
Ooh.
the jewels and the nuggets
Okay.
today. I'm
Yeah.
learning so much
Yeah.
because not only am I learning, not only have I learned today, you know how successful y'all are as business women, and even personal challenges. You
Yeah.
lost your husband. You
Yeah.
almost lost your own life. Like so. And our goal always is to sit over here and forget them cameras even though we're
Oh,
Man,
yeah.
ain't that crazy
Yeah.
though?
You know what though? Speaking of that, is that you all are almost like, and you just made me think about this because running a managing artist,
Mhm.
they're actually the artists.
Yeah.
And how is it being the artist and the entrepreneur?
And,
It's
where
hard.
you have to actually go and perform, but
Oh,
then you
yeah.
have to run the business side of what
Let
you
me
have
just say
to
this
do.
real quick.
Huh.
Yes,
I'll
sir.
say this because I'm not. I have had, it's hard trying to find people in your corner.
1,000%.
Period. You know, everything is a learning lesson. Each lesson gets you to another place. I don't want to shit on nobody, but
do y'all have managers?
right now I do.
I
but
don't.
I've gone through twice. I went through years without having a manager
Mhm.
Yeah.
because it was that trust.
Right.
And it was like, well, dang, I can do everything myself. Well, then I can
Right.
just do it. But then it becomes cumbersome and hard.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so
you
now,
get out your
Trying to
creativity.
work-
okay,
Yeah.
so I just signed with Dave Anderson with the Heist Agency. They
Okay.
kind of handle my bookings because my follow through game, like I told y'all, is bad.
Yeah,
Handling
some calls,
emails,
so they can
Even running my first business, the Spin Academy, the
Yeah.
only DJ school, that was hard. I put my 401k in there.
Oh, wow.
Lost it. I'm not ashamed to say it. That's a whole nother subject.
That's
but
what
that's
we
good.
here to
Yeah.
talk about. That's,
yeah, but
that's
that's
why we're
business
here.
101.
Right.
Oh, yeah,
I
for
just
sure.
didn't have. I fell in love with the dream
Yeah.
Right.
and the building, and not the business.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Come
what
on,
that's
That's
what
what this whole thing is about.
We've been
And
there.
I ain't ashamed to say it.
No.
Yeah.
And I would say the same thing. It's like I went to school for music business, and so learning my reason for going to school for recorded music and business is like to learn it from the inside out, because
Right.
I've seen so many people in the 90s and 2000s generation get completely fucked over.
Yes.
And I said, if it takes me, I offered my first deal when I was 13, because I not only DJ'd, I produced and rapped, did all that stuff. And I was offered a singles deal. And when I was hearing about the verbiage of that deal when I was even 13, I was like, you know what? I'm going to wait until I really know what I'm doing, know what I want, even if it takes another 10, 15 years.
Right.
And so I can do it myself. And I think that's really been a blessing to me. I mean, sometimes people don't know because, of course, again, that's the thing about being a woman. They think that, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what these deals are. You don't know what this clause is. You don't know, And so I'm grateful that I had that experience and that knowledge, the business to back it up.
Gotcha.
But there are some times where I'm just like, damn, I wish I did have somebody to trust that can just handle all that, so I can just create content and be
Right.
more
Because
creative.
you're creative.
And, yeah,
Right.
and do all of that. And so
That's the
right
hardest
now,
challenge.
I'm open, but I'm also wanting it to be the right person, because I come with a lot of, I don't even say a lot of experience, but it's just like, I have really lofty, big dreams, and I want somebody that's
That
right
can
there.
That's gonna be
with
there
me.
with you, and
That's
that can match that.
That can match that, and we
Yes.
here working together
That's the
versus
hardest
like,
thing,
oh
y'all.
yeah, you're the biggest thing in Texas. No.
Both of y'all
I'm
got
like,
out there.
well,
Y'all have to be-
shit. But you know what? Every year, I try to reinvent myself.
Yes.
It's a weird thing. Like
No,
so
it's necessary.
yeah, it is
So
necessary.
remember this:
So I try to
reinvent and
myself.
re-enhance.
Ooh, reinventing,
Re-enhance.
re-enhance. I like that.
Yeah.
Because it gets stale. You
That's
gotta
the
re-enhance it.
thing.
You gotta
Yes.
re-enhance.
Re-enhance.
No, it's true.
You
That was
gotta
actually,
always switch it off.
that's
You
2021
just gotta
for me.
stand on it and start knowing I am superstar.
Come on,
And
So
like
let
I
me
said,
take
come
this
on,
superstar
Because
shit
sometimes
to
you
the
like,
next
That's
superstar
it.
level.
That's it.
So, but what I do is though every year, y'all do this too. Let me ask y'all try to reinvent yourself. I have a marketing degree in my head, so I be thinking like, oh, what kind of ideas or what look? How can I change it or what?
Hey, I'm a
Y'all do that
hustlerholic.
too?
Right.
I'm
Come on,
a hustlerholic.
But let me tell you why it's necessary.
Yeah,
to do that.
necessary.
And this is going to hopefully bless some people. Is that because you can never rise higher than your own self-image.
Ooh, yes.
Say it one more time.
You'll never rise higher than your own self-image.
What you think
It's
of
impossible
yourself.
to. And so it's impossible because you go against yourself. So if you don't see yourself as something, you can't become it.
1,000%.
And so at the end of the day, you have to continue to reinvent yourself every year because every year you should be evolving and becoming something else. So you should have a different vision.
You have to believe in yourself first.
Of
Right.
who you are. You know how that you get the download. You gotta do the software.
The
update.
version, update.
That's the re-enhancement.
Update.
That's the re-enhancement.
You gotta work the bugs out. Gotta work the bugs out and update.
And if you don't do that update, your phone is
Gonna crash.
There you go.
The whole system is gonna crash.
It's time and culture.
That's
it
it.
moves
It's
every year.
moving.
It's something different. We were laughing because the other day, guys used to wear the jeans with the creek.
Yeah,
Right.
Now
Oh,
you wear
yeah, extra starch.
Starchy Archie.
Nigga, you ain't got the latest
Gerbo.
download. So once again, we done got lost in the sauce.
But
Little bit of this, but
man,
really
this
good
is
sauce,
good
and just
conversation.
having such a good time. I wish you guys could be here for another 2 hours or whatever, man, because there's so much more to learn about, you know what I mean, y'all journey, y'all pathway and stuff, and it's been outstanding for me. But before y'all go, I know they're gonna have a couple closing points. I want to make sure that you guys leave us with where everybody can reach you at, what you got going on, or whatever. I'll let you go. You go in the floor. Always use hit us with some closing questions.
All right, y'all, make sure you find me at Tay Powers on all platforms, Insta, Twitter, SoundCloud, all of that. Keep up with my content.
Hey y'all. I'm your girl DJ Supastar. Hey, you can catch me on 93.7 The Beat. You can catch me on my podcast, She Got the Juice. And sometimes, I was on Fox 26 pre-COVID, and we do like these Zoom calls. So, you catch me on Fox 26 every now and then. And just, hey, in the city of H-Town, at I am DJ Superstar on all platforms.
Yeah.
all right, well,
I want to
definitely.
close this out, right?
Yeah.
No. Well, ladies, it was definitely a pleasure and a privilege.
Yeah. Okay.
To have you all and really hear your story and really hear your heart, and especially when you're in an untraditional industry. And you have a lot of women, especially with social media, a lot of young girls, they want to do what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So if it was one last thing, like in 20 seconds that you could say, like one little that you can give to somebody, what would that be to a younger lady out there that's looking to actually just find herself in maybe something that is untraditional and unorthodox that women participate in?
Stay authentic, stay real, pray, and have a great support system.
That's amazing. And I'm going to add on to that and say, put the work in. Definitely hone your craft, because just like, if you're African American or person of color, you got to be 2 times as good as your cohort. Same for being a woman. So make sure you are practicing. Make sure you are listening. And that's for whoever wants to DJ, you want to produce, you want to do music, and be your best. And when you are your best, you're going to, like you said, believe it. You're going to believe your self-image, and all the rest will follow.
And you know what? Don't put your feelings on your shoulder.
Put those in your purse. Put them in your purse.
Big lady.
That's what I'm gonna start telling man. Every now and then, next time you fall out, Cheryl, put the feelings in your purse.
Put them in your pocket.
Right. I'll tell you, put your pocket.
Put it in your pocket, bro.
y'all
definitely
tough,
thank
man.
y'all for the show.
Thank
Coming
you
on our
for
show,
having
man.
us.
Thank you. I want
This
to
is
come back.
great. Yeah.
Way to come back every other week.
Well, we can do it.
We
Hey,
can
we
do
can
it.
do it. We can have a drink. I'll be drinking.
Listen,
that's what it is.
I'll be
We'll have a
drinking
guest
shots.
and then we'll DJ in the corner.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah,
DJ. That's
look,
it.
Look, we taking over your I'm sorry.
Guess what, though? I love that shit.
I know.
We go back and forth.
That's what
We enhance.
See?
We take what you
Re-enhance.
want.
Re-enhance. That's
Yeah.
what we
Well,
do.
it's coming y'all world anyway. So too long.
I'm glad I get along with y'all pretty well. You know? Man, thank y'all. We'll catch y'all on the next episode.
Man, thank you. Thank y'all. This is
I'ma gon' get it like the lotto. Dressed in all my motto. Alligator shoe and I'm ass on the throttle. Favorite supermodel, paparazzi follow. Money, hoes and clothes, it make my head hollow. I'm drinking out the bottle, the grind on my sorrow. A better day tomorrow is all I wish for.